So some of Aiden's eggs in his incubator are hatching, so we need to make a place to put them. What we used to do is we would just take like the cardboard watermelon bins and put them on a pallet and go ahead and put the chicks in there with a bunch of bedding. But we've decided to start recycling these totes that we used to get sap. We only use them 1 year because they get kind of yucky and they're really hard to get cleaned out because there's such a small opening. I've had it before where I try cutting them and clean them and then you just can't reuse them because you get debris in them. So this is just one other way that we're gonna reuse these. So if you didn't see the video on how to take these apart, we did a video on how to take totes apart or different uses for totes on a homestead. So this is a jug that comes out of this crate. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna put it back in there, but we're gonna turn it down. So the chicks are gonna have this whole area where the valve is on here. You can see how it goes in, and then they're not gonna have these, they'll have these spaces here and they can get crowded and smashed into a corner that way. So we're gonna give them this whole top part. So I'm gonna go ahead just pick this up and just go ahead and put that back down in there that way, upside down. And you need a marker. I'm going to go ahead and take this off. Don't get cut on the pieces. I'm just going to set that to the side. That can go to the recycling. So what we're going to do is decide. We'll cut that off later. But we need to decide on how high we want our sides. Now the cardboard ones have like vent holes in the side for airflow. So we'll probably end up cutting some vents in this. But as far as for the bedding and having sides on, I'm thinking we'll probably go maybe here. Is that what we think?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna go about there. So we're just gonna take a marker and go ahead and mark that all the way around. And there's one of these on this side too. And keep marking. Okay, so that we're going to cut that there. We're also planning on using this other part for potting mix when we mix up potting mix. So I am going to go ahead and mark here, and we're going to cut it there too. So we're not only going to use this for a chick brooder or chick starting pen, we can use this other portion here to soak soil to start planting seeds for starting in the garden. So now we need to go ahead, we'll tip this over and pull this back out. And I'm just going to cut on those lines. So I have a just a wood cutting bit for my Sawzall. And we're just going to cut on this line. Maybe I can stay straight. Okay, that's not a very straight line, but I guess I could take a little more time on this, and and it would look nicer, but the chicks don't mind. Might also be easier with a battery powered circular saw too, so you might be able to stay on the lines better. So there we go. We have this. Now just pick this back up. Go ahead and put these little guards back in here. There, now I'll just go ahead, change my blade back to my metal cutting blade. And I'm going to buzz these off right here. Blade's a little bit long. It's hard to keep. So it might be easier to take this back out because I didn't quite cut it perfectly. And it doesn't want to cut it real well. So now I know where I'm going to be cutting those off at. Works better with a new blade. Now you could do this with an angle grinder too. That would work. You might want to maybe put duct tape around this because these will be kind of sharp. Then you just go ahead and put this back inside. And then you can put bedding in there, put a water on one side, a heat lamp. Like what we'll probably do is we'll probably maybe put some duct tape all the way along here, tape this around so nobody gets cut on the edges. And then, you know, this piece, like I said, we're going to use this to soak dirt in. We'll clean that up. We'll fill that full of dry dirt. We use Purple Cow organic potting mix. So we'll put that in there, let it soak in water till it's nice and wet, and then we can make our soil blocks with that. This little extra piece, you can either recycle it, or I even thought, you know, you could use that, cut it into a long strip. You could use it for flashing up against a building, you know, so that would go in the corner of your building and water won't get down around it. But yeah, there's a ton of uses for all this kind of stuff. It is recyclable. Your recycling place will take it because it's plastic. Otherwise, you can think of something to use it for. So then once you use these for your chicks and the chicks are ready to go outside into the chicken mobile pens, then you can just go in and you can pick this up with the skid steer. You can go ahead and then dump this out. You can pressure wash the inside and just clean it up and use it for your next batch. So that's why we use these pallets. We did, like I said before, we used the cardboard bins, but sometimes when you would go ahead and pick up the pallets with the skid steer, the bins would fall off and you'd have bedding laying all over by the time you got them out to the compost pile. So that's why these are mounted right to the pallet. You don't have to worry about them sliding off. You don't have to worry about the chicks, you know, getting down underneath or anything like that. So we're gonna take this in. We probably aren't gonna punch the holes in right yet because they're gonna be real young chicks that we're putting in here. So we wanna keep them pretty warm for the first couple of days. You want them at that 90 degrees. So we won't really punch too many holes in so they don't get cold in there. Then we'll go ahead and just drill holes in it later.